And now to our interview segment. My guest, Funmi Falana, is well known for her work at protecting the rights of the girl child and women. Alongside her husband, Femi Falana, Funmi devotes most of her time championing the rights of the oppressed and the vulnerable in the society. Against the background of the recent case of Ese Oruru, who was allegedly abducted and forced into marriage, Mrs. Falana speaks about the plight of the girl child and why the police and government must do more to protect their rights. Let's start on this Ese Oruru matter. I imagine that you've been following the whole thing as it's playing out. What do you make of it?
Ese Oruru matter is still part of the issues of child abuse that have continued to occur in this country. Ese Oruru's case is not the only one. She's lucky that her matter came to limelight. There are several other children like Ese who were abducted from their families and were taken away. Will you believe that 3 or 4 days ago, somebody sent a complaint to me that her daughter was abducted in Abuja since 2010 and was taken away, and she's been forced into Islam and been married off. It is not that she could not locate where the girl is, but they have not released the girl to her. So we have asked other women, other parents who have similar issues to bring up their applications. We are looking at the whole issue holistically, and we are taking up the issue with the president of the country. Something has to be done. Enough is enough. This issue of abduction and child marriage. And it is not that we don't have the laws guiding us, but people don't obey the laws of the land.
Now, like you said, a lot of parents of other underage children have also come out, following this issue with Ese Oruru. But what does this say about our institutions, our attitudes to children, and our religious beliefs as a people?
It's really embarrassing, and it is worrisome. It calls for a rethink. Now, number one, it shows that we don't have security agencies in Nigeria. People who are paid to protect the lives of the people, more importantly, the lives of the children of these people. They aren't doing anything. For example, Ese's mother contacted the police several months, and the police refused to do anything. Even when she went to Kano, the police was aware of the fact that she came to Kano for this purpose. They never did anything until the press cried out. The IG was not going to intervene. It's very, very annoying, and it's very sad indeed. There is a woman, I think Mrs. AJ. The daughter is, I think, Lucy AJ in Abuja. She sent a complaint to us last week, the way she heard about Ese's matter, that her own daughter was taken to Sokoto, and that she contacted the police. Up to now, the police refused to do anything about it. So I don't know, these people are being paid by the taxpayers' money to take care of the people, to take care of, in fact, the children of this country. Then number two, it also shows that the children, and more importantly, the girl child, is really very endangered in this country. It will become an endangered species. Remember the more than 200 children that were abducted? Yeah, Chibok girls. Remember the recent cases of children that are abducted. Remember the 2 girls that were taken away from Ikorodu, and so many other issues like that. So it's becoming very worrisome. We should protect our children.
How do we make the country safer for young girls?
The police should do more. They haven't done anything at all. Police should try as much as possible to secure the lives of the people that they are paid to secure. Now, our politicians, we also discover that our politicians, these people are backed up by politicians. I don't know if you heard about the Senator Yerima sometimes that married a 14-year-old girl. And we actually took him up we wrote a letter, an application to the Attorney General to give us a fair to prosecute this man. He wrote back to us that the girl she married is an Egyptian, not a Nigerian. He married is an Egyptian, sorry, and not a Nigerian. And that only a Nigerian girl is bound by the laws, the Child Rights Act, that we seek to enforce. And so if we are talking about Child Rights Act, the child cannot be protected by Child Rights Act. And he actually told us that we hadn't any right to query him. But I told him that we have the right to query him. As a matter of fact, we needed, the Attorney General said he couldn't give us the go-ahead because it was as if the Attorney General then agreed with him. But I disagree with him. Child Rights Act is for every child in Nigeria. It does not matter whether you are a Nigerian or not, as long as you live in Nigeria, you are protected by this law. Whoever marries a child under this act is liable to 6 years imprisonment. It's a criminal offense he committed. There's no way I could have prosecuted. The best I could have done perhaps was to sue. And for me to sue, I must be suing on behalf of the girl who was not prepared. Who was actually not prepared to sue at that time. So these are the issues. And I also think there should be a public enlightenment. Parents should be enlightened. The Child Rights Act is a national act, is a law for the Federation. We also have, every state has also gone to enact their own child rights law. And these laws are pari material, the same facts, the same laws with the Child Rights Act. And the Child Rights Act and the Child Rights Law by extension stipulates that child marriage is an offense. And whoever gives out a child or marries a child, that's so that the parent is also liable. Whoever does this allows the child to be married off or marries an underage is liable to an imprisonment, a jail term.
But this only takes effect when the Attorney General prosecutes.
When they are prosecuted, there must be prosecution before you can be sentenced.
In the name of the Attorney General?
Oh yes, the state prosecutes because it's a criminal. The jurisprudence of that fact is that the Attorney General is the custodian of the values. And so they are to protect, the chief law officer, to protect the people of the country against crime. I can sue you for civil matters, but I cannot prosecute you for criminal matter. It is the state that prosecutes. And that is why you say state versus so. An individual will not be able, except to get a fiat. That's like a license. Go ahead and prosecute on our behalf. But besides that, it's the state that prosecutes. So the state must be willing. There must be prosecution before they can be sentenced to death. And so we implore the Attorney General, the Ministry of Justice, both the state and the federal, to stand up to this, to their responsibilities. And please, we are telling the whole world that our children should be protected against abduction. They are supposed to be in school. A girl that is below 17 has no business being in the house of a man as a wife. Now, unfortunately, this is an area nobody has really looked at. This girl, Ese, cannot deliver this baby. Her reproductive organs, every organ in that section of the reproductive part, too immature. Underdeveloped, not matured.
There's the probability of VVF.
VVF, not mature. If they allowed her to go to labor, she can develop VVF. There was an issue that somebody brought an issue to me from Agege last year. The girl was impregnated at the age of 13. I think she was raped, and she became pregnant. I had to report to the deputy governor then, who took it up, and the baby was carried out by cesarean operation and was brought out of her. Otherwise, she would not have been able to do it. Because that part of the baby still not developed, still not mature for that process.
It's also illegal.
It's illegal. At this stage, a 6-month-old baby, nobody should talk about abortion, please. Nobody should talk about abortion. Nobody can. No. No, we should be looking at bringing out the baby. Yes, we should be looking at bringing out the baby safe and sound.
You've talked about the Child Rights Act and the Child Rights Law, and I know that this is very prevalent in the North, but what's being done to domesticate the act in that part of the country?
This is another opportunity for us to cry out to these people to please domesticate the Child Rights Act. But even then, without even having the Child Rights Law in their states, they are still bound by the Child Rights, having been signatory to it, they are still bound by the Child Rights Act of the Federation. So they cannot shut their eyes to that law. The law is enforceable in their states. But then we implore them, we beg them, we please beg them at this point to please go and domesticate, enact their own Child Rights Law. It is desirable at this point. But you will also agree with me that even in states where these laws have been enacted, the Child Rights laws have been enacted, the rights of the children they are still being violated. So it is not for the absence of the law, it is for the enforcement of the law. People should try and make use of the law, enforce the law as they are. There are laws. Laws to protect our children, laws to protect our women, fundamental human rights for everybody. But nobody take the advantage, or few people take the advantage of this. Well, number one, perhaps most people are unaware of the availability of this law, the level of ignorance, and that is why I will agree with you that these things are very common in the North. And so they need to be sensitized to the availability of that there is a law that protects them. Of in fact, some of these children do not like what happened to them there, but there's no way they can run away from it. I think about as late as 10 years ago, a girl ran to me, came to my office to tell me that she needed a protection, that her parents were going to marry her off to a megad. And I was in a dilemma. If I take this, will the parents not accuse me of abduction? I had to report to the police station, and I had to protect the girl. For a period of time, we didn't allow her to go until that period passed, and we released her. But I haven't heard anything about the girl since then. I tried to locate her, I could not locate her. How am I sure she was not eventually taken away? We were able to protect her for that period of time, but nobody knew what happened thereafter because we couldn't get her after a very long period. So we are watching non-government organizations there. We have the synergy. They were working together. Now NGOs, there are some NGOs that are working together along with my own NGO, Women Empowerment and Legal Aid. And we have agreed, we meet regularly, we have agreed that if we give them some time, if they do not do what they are supposed to do, we will take up this action, we will compel the president of this country. SA will not be allowed to just waste away like that.
So going forward now, how should the rehabilitation of SA and other child brides be handled?
There needs to be a lot of counselors that will talk to her, give her a new orientation, and wait for the baby to mature, take out the baby from her, and send SA back to school. The girl that we took out the baby from Agege, we have gone back to allow her to send her back to school, and they are making an arrangement to place her in school. SA should be made to go back to school as soon as the baby is mature. Let the baby be taken out of her and let SA go back to school. And within this period, before that time, within this short period, SA should be counseled. There should be counselors who will talk, because I'm sure you know what happened will also have affected her. And I also want to advise that the exposure to press should also be reduced for her own psychic and emotion. Yes, then we also get psychologists to talk to her, a clinical psychologist to talk her out of whatever orientation she may have. And give her some time. I'm sure SA will bounce back.
State governments who have not domesticated the Child Rights Act must take steps to do so. Those who have must make sure that the law is strictly enforced. There is also an urgent need for the police and government at all levels to prioritize the protection of the vulnerable in the society, especially the girl child. Above all, everyone needs to get involved and speak out against these ills. These are some of the views expressed by my guest, Mrs. Funmi Falana. If you missed any part of the program, you can find it in past episodes on our YouTube channel. Do also interact with us via Facebook, email, or Twitter. I am Shola Shoyele. Thank you for watching.